All right, guys, here we are on week 4, module 2, World War II battlefield. Today you're going to be able to explain how advanced technology changed the way war was fought in both scale and violence through the two key battles of Iwo Jima and Normandy Beach. For our language objective today, you're going to be able to describe the battles of World War II using strong adjectives, not just like bad war, but using those more descriptive adjectives. Today I want you to be thinking about what do you think the fighting was like during World War II for the soldiers who fought in it? When we were talking about the Holocaust and concentration camps, we were thinking about the perspective of Jewish people and those forced into concentration camps. But for this one, I want you to think about what was fighting like for soldiers during World War II. Today, in order to make sure that you are on track and what you need to finish, you need to finish your Google document and turn it in. You need to make sure that your mastery check is taken and submitted in Edulastic. There are 2 weekly discussion questions within this. They need to be answered in Google Classroom, and you need to have replied to 2 of your classmates. All right, let's get into this. For our do now today, you're using this word blank to fill in the blanks. So this word bank to fill in the blanks about the start of World War II. Each word is only going to be used once, and you're using the links to help with words that you may not know. So these blue ones will take you to additional supports within the Google Classroom. Our word bank here is Treaty of Versailles, fascist, Adolf Hitler, Nanking, appeasement, Japanese expansion, Franklin Roosevelt. You also might see FDR, Nazis, atomic bomb, Pearl Harbor, United States, and Italy. Remember, you are only using those words once, and we'll review it at the end. After World War I, leaders from around the world met to decide what would happen after the war. They agreed to sign the, what would we put in there? We know at the end of World War I, we need to see Treaty of Versailles, which greatly punished Germany and made them pay for the war. This destroyed Germany and allowed for to take power. Who took power as a result of the Treaty of Versailles in Germany? The only people up here that we have are Adolf Hitler or FDR. I know that it is Adolf Hitler. Hitler to take power. Hitler was a blank and started a political party called the blank. So yesterday we refreshed ourselves on the definitions of totalitarian leaders, one of those being fascist. So he was a fascist dictator who ruled with absolute power in a one-party system, and the party that he created was called the Nazis. And they took over Germany. Fearing another war, leaders of allied nations tried to befriend Hitler instead of stopping him. This strategy was called, so they were trying to please him to get him to not start another war, and please sounds a lot like the word appeasement. While this was happening, so was blank, as Japan had run out of land and resources. What was Japan doing during the time when Hitler was coming to power and taking over Germany and the area around that? That was that idea that Japan needed to expand outwards. So that was Japanese expansion. Japan invaded China in 1937 and killed 300,000 people in the city of, was the southern capital in Beijing, or southern capital from Beijing being the northern capital. Beijing sounds like Nanking or Nanjing, depending on what dialect you're talking in. Nanking. Seeing this, Germany and blank invited Japan to join the Axis powers. What was the third power that was involved in the bad guy side of the Axis powers? It's either the United States or Italy. We were not the bad guys. Italy was a bad guy. So seeing this, Germany and Italy invited Japan to join the Axis powers. This angered the blank, who stopped all trade with Japan. Who stopped trade? That was the United States. Japan then fired the first shot against the United States and bombed the U.S. naval base at Pearl Harbor. President, I'm just going to put FDR, so like widely accepted abbreviation for Franklin Delano Roosevelt's name. So President FDR then declared war on Japan, and World War II continued for 4 more years until the U.S. dropped the atomic bombs. In 1945. So you should have in your blanks, number 1 is Treaty of Versailles. Number 2, Adolf Hitler. Number 3, fascists. Number 4, Nazis. Number 5, appeasement. 6 is Japanese expansion. 7 is Nanking. 8 is Italy. 9 is United States. 10 is Pearl Harbor. 11 is FDR. And 12 is atomic bombs. We're going to move on to our language activity here. And today the language activity is thinking about the strong adjectives. So we're going to read this non-example below and then complete the task assigned at the end of the section. So our non-example, so something that we would like, hopefully we do not see you guys writing, is World War II was a really bad war because there was a lot of violence and a lot of people were killed. One reason that World War II was worse than other wars is that they had better weapons. The weapons could destroy a lot of stuff and kill lots of people. We've got a little picture here that's welcome to Dulltown, USA. It's very boring. I'm falling asleep. We're going to read some chart below for some fresh ideas that we could be using instead. So we see this like instead of, try using. So when we say something is really bad, we might want to use the word catastrophic. When we say a lot, you might want to say massive amounts or large amounts or inconceivable amounts. When we talk about a lot, destroy, annihilate is a really great synonym to use for destroy. And then worse, more fatal, more lethal, more destructive, more damaging. These are all words that are more specific than just worse. So you can say like more people were killed, so it's more fatal. There was more destruction done, rather than it was just like worse. It's very boring. So your task now is to reread that non-example that we had at the top. You're going to highlight using the highlighting tool places where you could have replaced boring or unclear language with strong adjectives, and then bonus points if you replace them with those strong adjectives. So for this non-example, I see, if you're following along with me, you would see World War II was a really bad war. Like really bad is very boring. Instead of really bad, I might change that to was a very destructive war because a lot of violence. Let's do, there was, I'm going to come back up here to my lot, massive amounts. Massive amounts of violence. I'm going to highlight that so I can see that I added it for my bonus points. Massive amounts of violence and millions, I know that from like our reading, millions of people were killed. One reason that World War II was worse than other wars was worse than, we're going to say, was more damaging. I'm just taking this straight from the list above. It's more damaging than other wars. Check my damaging. is that they had better weapons. I'm gonna, instead of just putting better, that's kind of a snooze fest. Even though that wasn't above that, I can do better than that. Was more advanced weapons. And these weapons could destroy a lot of stuff. All of this is kind of boring. Destroy significant amounts of property and kill lots of people, hundreds of thousands. Great. So that is my non-example made more interesting with the use of those strong adjectives. If yours looks different than mine, that's fine. But let's try to use those, especially when we're doing our claims and counterclaims and our writing. You're going to scroll down to this next video for the next section.